Welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder. I am Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
We bring you the good,
The badass.
and the crime.
This is Like Mother, Like Murder.
Hello, and welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder, your favorite true crime momcast. I am Rachel.
And I am Heather, and each week we bring you mom-related true crime content. From missing moms to murdered moms, moms who murder, survivors, and much more.
Yes, we do. And I want to say, so Heather, I think that I told you this the other day, but I feel like our last episode drop was one of our highest download days. So if you guys are new here, we just want to give you guys such a special shout out. Say we really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening and coming for these much needed cases that need to be talked about. So we love that you are here. Thank you. I love it.
And shout out to Jasmine, because that case...
Oh, yes.
Oh, it had me. I was like... jaw on the ground for like 75% of that episode.
Absolutely. It's so my boyfriend, he texted me. He listens every Tuesday on the way to work. Amazing listener. Shout out Joel. And he was just like, what in the actual world? That case was crazy. Jasmine did an amazing job sharing Angelique Sutton's case. And on that topic, actually, I want to remind you guys that when we have these takeovers, yes, they are amazing for Heather and I because they give us a little bit of a break to focus on some other things that we have going on. But we still want to share episodes. We still want to talk about people. They're all mom related. These people volunteer their time to come sit with us, which is such an amazing thing. So to everyone who did that, to Thick Thighs and Creepy Vibes, you know, and
Amanda
Cold and
Denise.
Untold. Yes. And of course, Black Coffee, Crime, and Crochet.
Yes.
Names are hard. They're great. But those are the shows. And we've sourced them all in the show notes. So make sure that if you guys have not yet, go check them out. That is another reason why we do it. We're hoping to share people that you might want to go listen to, you know?
Because we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Heather, I actually, before we get into today's episode, I have to show you a picture and ask you if you've ever had this. So,
Okay.
My mom has been making this breakfast recently, like once every couple weeks, and it's called a German pancake. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't think you do.
No.
Okay.
It's not a flat pancake, like a Swedish pancake?
It is not.
Not
It
like
is
a
the
crepe?
opposite of a flat pancake. It is the biggest, fluffiest, goes up the side of the pan type pancake. So I'm going to show you a picture. If you guys have not had these, you need to make them. I haven't made one myself. So as I tell you how easy it is, that's not from experience. So you can disregard that.
Don't worry. It's super easy. It's just a 26-step process.
Well, it's funny because my mom's like, it's the easiest thing ever. And I'm like, you know what's easier? Showing up and eating them. Yeah. Like, that's the easy thing to do. So I'm so excited. Every time you tell me you're going to make them, I will be there. So I'm going to show you a picture, and I will post them on Instagram and on our socials for those of you guys that are listening. And if you don't follow us, maybe you don't have social media, type it in the Google and look it up, and then go make yourself one because holy cannoli, they are German pancakes, okay?
I'm so excited for this. What is that?
Do you see how big and fluffy?
That looks so good.
So like this one right here is actually kind of exactly what mine look like, where it comes up the side. And my mom made one that is just a typical pancake, typical yummy breakfast one. And then she made one with asparagus and kielbasa, and I brought it home for lunch.
Heck
delicious. Delicious.
That looks amazing.
You guys go get on the German pancake train. Yeah, because it is delicious. I'm still thinking about it, if you guys can't tell.
Yeah.
Heather, what are you thinking about?
I can tell it's on your brain. Yeah. I'm now thinking about a German pancake. Well, I'm thinking about the fact that my amazing husband has been on vacation the last he's been on vacation for like a week now. And he did the most amazing thing that anyone has ever done for their significant other. He decided, I'm going to make you breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh.
And he's not like a cook, right? He's
Go,
not like
Fletch dog. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Him in the kitchen is like not a thing, but he decided he was going to, you know, go on this journey. And so he did breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks, a morning and afternoon snack.
Wow.
And because, you know, he was like, we have to stop spending so much money on takeout. So like we literally, and I am so proud of him. He went out, he bought all the ingredients, and he even realized a couple times, he goes, oh no, I don't have this, and had to use a substitution. And that he did the damn thing. And I'm so proud of him. And now I might actually request because the week is almost over. He's almost having
Tomorrow's
to go back to
breakfast.
work. And I'm gonna cry when I don't get home cooked meals anymore, you guys. I'm gonna have to request a German pancake for breakfast tomorrow.
You should. And what I can actually do to make it easier is I can just have my mom send all over the information.
Oh, she should.
So that he doesn't even have to go look it up to see, which one's best. No, I'll tell you which one's best. My mama's German pancakes. They're the best.
Done. Do that. I love that idea.
Well, I'm happy he's home cooking for you.
Oh my God, it's been the most amazing thing ever, you guys. And the best thing is, like, you know how indecisive I can be about my food. I get to this point where I'm just like, you know what? I don't know what I want. I just know I'm hungry, and I just need to be fed within.
And you
end
up at Taco Bell, and it's expensive, and
it's horrible and bad for you. And if if I don't get fed in the next 23 minutes, I'm gonna turn into like a monster.
We don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
No.
The world doesn't want that.
Absolutely not.
So it's just been so nice because he won't tell me. He's like, I'm just gonna make it, and then it's like the best thing in the whole world. So I'm so incredibly lucky and grateful, and it's amazing. And now I'm like, ooh, German pancakes.
Well, now that you guys got to hear about the foodie in us, I mean, duh, you guys already knew that. We be loving our food. We have a very, very serious yet tragic yet amazing case that I will be telling you today, Heather. And I wanted to start actually by saying that the sources for this episode will be in the show notes, just like every other episode. But I wanted to add here that April, the host of Crime to Burn, was a key source in today's episode. She shared her notes and information from her coverage on Judy's story with me. So I highly recommend first you listen to this, or second, I don't care. You can go listen to her first. I love her that much. But either way, however you do it, here on Like Mother, Like Murder, we research, we dive, but it is typically an overview of something that we can talk about in a whole series. We could do 10-part series on so many of the people that we talk about, and we fit it into an hour, and she does an amazing, amazing job at this. She also covered Judy Malinowski on You Should Be Here, on the domestic violence one, or no. I was like, why can't I think of the name of it? Which, such an amazing series. She has so much knowledge because, as I get into this, it will make more sense, but she has 20 plus years as a fire protection engineer and former firefighter. And it just offers a different outlook than the way that we'll be sharing it here today on Like Mother, Like Murder. So with that said, I do want to provide a trigger warning because this episode discusses extreme domestic violence, addiction, and fatal injuries. Judy Malinowski's journey began long before the horrific attack that ended her life. And a quote that I want to start with is from her mother, Bonnie Bowes, who I think is an incredible advocate for her daughter and others in the journey and the changes that she has taken to help to make change. And Bonnie says, quote, "She was not perfect, but she was human, end quote. I want you to think about this as we go through Judy's life, her attack, and life after the attack. She was not perfect, but she was human. And we talk about this very often in many different cases, in every single realm of what we cover here, is too often we see like a preconceived thought or image of somebody, and then things aren't handled the right way, or maybe laws aren't put in place the right way that they should be to help certain people. And Judy's story eventually changes all of that, and it is an amazing, amazing thing, and that's what we are going to hold on to as we talk about her life and her attack. During my research, reading, listening, and watching, one of the things that I came across was the documentary, The Fire That Took Her. And in this, I was able to get a sense of who Judy was from her family's words to the pictures and the videos that were shared, and from Judy herself. Because another thing that plays into Judy's story is she is the only person to have ever testified at her own murder trial.
That statement is just what?
Judy was born Judith Ann Hensel on August 26, 1983, and was raised in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio area. There's not a whole lot on the upbringing and Judy's childhood, but from things that I was able to gather, Judy was described by her family and friends as being kind and compassionate. She was gentle and someone who always had a bright, joyful personality. I gotta edit out all my growls, so stupid. Judy was the oldest and had a younger brother and a younger sister. It is known that when Judy was younger, she participated in beauty pageants where she actually earned the title of Miss New Albany. She was a beauty queen. She was homecoming queen at her high school. And according to her mom, she just wanted a simple life when she was older. She wanted to be a teacher, she wanted to be a wife, and she wanted to be a mom. And since this is a mom cast, you know we focus on mom-related content, and I want to talk a little bit about Judy's mom, Bonnie Bose. In the documentary, you get to see the way that she talks so graciously and so beautifully about her daughter's fight, and the movement to make change after the fact. But she shares about the fact that Judy was her firstborn baby, and how watching her and growing with her was such a special, special bond. They were so close growing up, and that didn't change throughout life. This family constantly showed up for each other, which shows right here in Judy's early adulthood. At a very young age, Judy faced a devastating diagnosis of ovarian cancer. She fought through it like the fighter she was, which is the reoccurring theme of Judy's adult life. She was faced with things, but always fought so hard to overcome it. And after overcoming her first cancer diagnosis, in 2006, the cancer returned. This time, she got a full hysterectomy that came with complications in her recovery. And it ultimately ended up leading Judy to becoming addicted to the pain medication that she was on after the fact.
How old was she?
She was 20 the first time she got it. So
Oh my gosh.
I want to say she was either
young.
23 or 26 the second time.
So hard. That's so young.
She was young, and to live that life, to fight that. We've had friends who have gone through this and that fight and that change, and that I feel like you always come out of something like that. I shouldn't say you always. Everyone is so very different. But from people that I have seen and known, they have this perspective of like being given that second chance.
Right.
And how beautiful it is to have been given that chance and to take full advantage of your life. So to then go from that to being re-diagnosed not long after, going through it again, and then becoming addicted to pain medication. This time was extremely hard because she was going through this, and she was a mother of two, and she was now a single mother of two, because during this time, the father of her children, who she was married to, ended up leaving her. And I don't think they actually got a divorce at that time. They ended up just separating. But still, you're struggling through intense treatment, fighting for your life, a mother of two. You have that happen where your husband, you separate, and that could be from both positions. I'm not just saying he ended up leaving her, but ultimately it is one of those things that it just added on, like a series of unfortunate events. And another thing that had happened was she lost her insurance. And with her dependency on the pain medication, she no longer had access to what she needed. And with that, she ended up resorting to illegal prescriptions. And when those didn't cut it anymore, she turned to heroin. Judy knew she had a problem, as did her family. And when that happened, her mother and her sister ended up taking custody of her two girls. And in their hearts, they knew this was temporary, that Judy was a fighter. She had already fought so much in her life. She was going to reclaim her life, get back to where she needed to be. They would have the girls in the meantime. And that's exactly what happened. Judy, again, fought that fight. She went to rehab. She reclaimed her life and was drug-free. Despite this setback, with that, unwavering support from her family and the commitment to the rehabilitation, and just like I said, one thing after another, right at the time that Judy was reclaiming her life and that things were finally beginning to look hopeful again, things took a tragic turn. Someone that Judy knew previously from high school.
She got schooled.
Someone that Judy knew previously from high school entered her life. They had reached out via Facebook, started talking, and like I mentioned when I was talking about people that I know and experiences that I've personally been through in my life, when you overcome things, when you are given second chances, I feel like there is a tendency to see the best in people, to see the opportunity, to set other things aside that, might be your gut telling you something, or the red flags, or whatever the signs may be. She chose to see this person as someone who was coming into their life for a very good reason, but it wasn't a good reason. The person who started talking to her via Facebook was Michael Slager. And this was a turning point in her life where things were looking up, and he began love bombing her. He was telling her all of the right things. He was making her believe that he was this good guy, and seeing this positivity or this hope or, happiness and everything. And in love bombing, that's not real. Right. It's not real. It's coercive control. It's so many other things that play into it. And that's exactly what was happening at this point in her life. And as much as I would like to say nothing else about him, because I don't want to talk about him, until I talk about his sentencing later, I do need to add a little bit about the relationship for context. Michael was horrible. He was horrible when it came to his relationship with Judy. And quite frankly, I'm sure he was horrible in every single aspect of his life. Like I said, he was love bombing his way into her life. Already, that's ridiculous. You're doing it. You know that you're being manipulative. You know that you're using this control over somebody, and it is not okay. And he wasn't only manipulating her. He was manipulating her family into believing that he was this good guy for Judy. And people were seeing through it. But when that manipulation continues and you're trying to be supportive to your child,
Right.
you also start to get manipulated in that moment.
Right. It's cognitive dissonance. It's like,
Yeah.
look, like, I'm supporting my child. So I must end up supporting this person and their relationship, right? Because
Right.
like I'm just supporting my kid.
And even through that support, I feel like there was that, or can be, that ability to support in a way that is like, I'm watching you. But then that becomes a lot for somebody. And you don't need it. It's a lot.
And especially when your child is like an adult, I want to support you. I'm watching this person, but I also don't want to push you so far out of, especially knowing everything that at this point she'd been through in her life. Like, I don't want to push you so far out that, you're going to be on your own with only this dude. Like, I want to continue to be there for you, Yep. So it's really hard. I'm sure it's like an incredibly hard position for her family as well.
Absolutely. And amongst like all of that and the actual like emotional distress and the manipulation and all of that, there were physical abuse calls as well. I mean, the police calls were made from both people. He had called the police on her. She had called the police on them. It seems like it was a very, very toxic, hostile relationship that continued, like I said, with love bombing, with that control, with that manipulation, that every time you try to get away from something like this, from someone who is in a domestic violence situation, if you've ever been there, you know how that is, where the person just keeps dragging you back. And one of the things that he did to control her was he reintroduced her to those really, really aggressive pain medications and heroin into her life again. So she had already done all of these things, right? She had already overcome cancer twice. She had already gone to rehab for medication and the abuse of illegal drugs and substances. And now he is saying, you know what, here, let me give this to you so that I have this control over you.
I was waiting for that. Yep. Yes. I could see that coming, because that's a big way to control somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Yet, still on the day of the attack that we're going to get into, she was on her way to rehab. It is we talk about the statistics when it comes to domestic violence, and maybe I should have had some here for right now. But when you make the choice to leave is, unfortunately,
increases
in many cases, the likelihood,
an incident that day. Yep.
Exactly. And, that was her thought. She was ready to go better herself yet again. She had finally seen through all of his nonsense and all of his bullshit and ready to reclaim her life once again. This was in 2015. So it had been years. I actually don't know how many years they were actually together. Maybe I should have known that. I don't care about that. I'm not going to say that. But it was in 2015 that she had made that choice, that she had already talked to her family. And I want to add right here that, like I said, there are many deep dives into this. There is many places you can find so much of what happened within their relationship as well. I don't want to talk about him, but just know she went through so much. She continued to push forward for herself, for her children, to try to get better. And that's what was happening. And she was actually already ready to go to the rehab center. She had everything planned out. It was happening. And it was on her way to the rehab center that her life changed forever. August of 2015, she was going to rehab and she had stopped at a gas station. She had just talked to her mom, and I think that she was having that moment that probably many people do, where it's like, I just need another hug. I just need another moment with my mom, with my kids, that kind of thing. And she had pulled off. She was going to get cigarettes from the gas station, and while she was at the gas station, Michael and Judy had a very, very big explosive fight. And during this argument, Judy, and what I want to say is, what I'm going to explain to you right now is from the video footage that is seen during this fight. The conversation after the fact, right? Because you have more details once you can see video footage and all of that. But it's changed from Michael's perspective, and we will talk about that in a little bit when we talk about what he said and his statements to police and all of that. But from the video footage, so that I'm giving you exactly what happened, is she got out of the truck and she ended up taking her soda and throwing it on Michael. And when that happened, he got really, really irritated. She had stormed off walking, and in the video, his truck is in one place in the beginning, and then it's like he drove around to another place. But she had walked to kind of like a little grassy area, and what the perspective of this video is, you're looking through like a bank parking lot, and so you kind of see where you would go to withdraw money from like the drive up ATMs. And so you see Judy sitting in the grass, and Michael comes out of his truck on the other side with something in his hand. It's a gasoline,
like a red thing
Yeah.
that you
what's it called? I almost said a gasoline
canister?
tank. Gas can. It is
Yeah.
a gas can. And he puts it over her head, starts pouring the gas all over Judy. And while that's happening, she gets up, she takes off her sweatshirt, and he is seen leaving the screen. He's seen leaving this footage. When he returns, he has a lighter in his hand, bends down to her level, lights Judy Malinowski on fire. Surveillance footage captured all of this. And at that moment, you see Judy running around, going to the ground, trying to put out the fire, and Michael doing nothing. Michael doing absolutely nothing. And it isn't until another person who witnessed everything ran over to Judy, and then Michael gets a fire extinguisher and puts the fire out on Judy's body.
It's just like, it's pure psychopath, right? Like, it's just pure psychopath. Because, just the lack of just, care you have to have for another human being, because at any step along the way, right, that's not as simple as I'm mad and you lash out and just punch somebody or shove somebody or whatever.
Yeah, there was thought.
There was so much thought into this, filling up the gas can, pouring it on her, going out of your way to then go get a lighter, lighting it, standing there watching. There's just so long that you're just not giving a shit about another human being. It's just crazy.
It really is crazy. And I'll get into the fact of how you said, in a moment, you get angry and you can retaliate.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's swinging on somebody. And no, I'm not saying this is good things, but the thought that goes into this is very evident, and it is seen because he does try to say how it was a quick
That's not
fury,
quick.
A rage moment.
That's not
where
reactive,
exactly,
dude. That's a very just callous, and it's long drawn out. That's not reactive.
Yeah. So in the video, you see him with the extinguisher, and the police are called. The documentary actually starts with the police call. I know, Heather, those are not your favorite things, nor are they anyone's favorite things. But in the 911 call, it is someone who witnessed the entire thing, witnessed their fight, witnessed her throwing the soda, witnessed him pouring the gas and then lighting her on fire. And she is trying to explain this to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher is just begging her to, I need you to slow down, because she couldn't really like make out what she's trying to say. But in that moment, it's full on panic, full on, how am I witnessing this? How am I seeing this? How is this in front of me type thing?
Like, for two humans to have a conversation, like, you're a human trying to explain what the hell you just saw, and then, like, as a human, you're trying to, like conceptualize, like, what you're hearing. That's, like, it seems like an impossibility, right? Like 100%. That, what you witnessed and then what somebody else witnessed, like, how do you actually, like, understand what it is?
Yeah. So Judy was burnt so badly. It consumed 80 to 90% of her body that was burned. And the doctors gave her 0% chance of survival. There was actually someone in the documentary, I forget her actual title, but she explains that based on Judy's age at the time, which she was 31 years old when this happened, 31 years old, with the burn percentage of 80 to 90%, it was actually 110% mortality rate.
Right.
So it even exceeded the fact that she should not have made it.
Right.
But the reoccurring theme of the fact that Judy was a fighter, and she was constantly someone who, freaking badass, amazing grit and fight and just determination that Judy had, is surreal. And it's something that as you see her, as you read about her, and the entire time I was looking into her, my mind was blown that someone could make the choice as many times as she did, because like her mother said, was she perfect? No, she was human. But that human was one of the most amazing fighters I have ever read about in my life. And what she does after this proves all of that. So she's taken to the hospital, as is Michael. And like I mentioned, she had called her mom just 30 minutes before all of this went down. And, you know, so when Bonnie, she had just talked to her. So when Bonnie gets a call right after the fact and hears that something happened, and the person on the line is saying, you need to get to the hospital immediately because we're going to intubate your daughter.
Right.
It's just something that you can't even begin to imagine how you would feel in that moment, you know, and hopefully no one ever listening to this, or, you know, anyone we know or don't know, anyone ever has to go through something like this again. Because what Bonnie found when she arrived to the hospital was the unimaginable. She said that she walked through the hospital, and the entire time she was walking, she just continued to say, tell me there's hope. Tell me there's hope. Tell me there's hope. And that no one would tell her anything other than they're working on her. And that day changed their entire family's life. The lead detective, who is shown through the documentary, he goes over kind of like how it was when he first got to the hospital, when he started talking to Michael, when he started talking to family, when he saw the video surveillance, all of those kind of things. And he recollects the time that he saw the video surveillance for the first time. And he said that it was actually over like a FaceTime. So he wasn't even there to see it on the screen. It was just being shown. And that quote, for me, that scene has played out in dreams more time than I can count. End quote. He begins his investigation right then and there. And obviously, he can't talk to Judy at this time. Michael's also in a room because I'm sure he was claiming that he was mentally unstable at that point, or, you know, they wanted to check on him, whatever. But he goes in there, and he's already, the lead detective, he had already seen this video. He had already said, you know, it's very obvious this was intentional. This was on purpose. They have the exact timestamp. Heather, it was he poured the gasoline on Judy's head, and it was 33 seconds later from the time he walked to the truck, walked right back, bent down, and pulled the lighter. Judy Malinowski underwent 59 surgeries. 59 surgeries. She lived for 700 days, which we'll get into more of that. 700 days after they said there 110% mortality rate for the burns that she received. Absolutely unimaginable. She lost her ears. She lost her fingers. She lost her hair. But still, she survived and she fought. And one of the reasons that she fought so hard as the time went by was to explain and to testify against Michael Slater. So, going back to the night there, the lead detective goes to talk to him. And like I said, they had seen the video. They see what happens. But Michael's story, the first one, because I will explain that it changes, but the first one that he says is they got in a heated argument. She threw the soda on him, and that out of quick rage and retaliation, he grabbed the closest thing next to him, and that was it. All he wanted to do was ruin her clothes. So poured the gasoline all over her, and she walked away. She took off her sweatshirt. So while she was sitting there mad at him, she wanted to smoke. So he was so kind to offer her a cigarette. And it wasn't until he bent down thinking everything was okay because she took off her sweatshirt, he went to light the cigarette for her. And that's when this, nice guy thing turned into something really, really awful, is what he is saying. And you get to see him say this. They have this on footage as well. And the lead detective's leaning up against the wall and saying, "Nope, that's not what happened because we saw it. So if you'd like to tell me the actual version of events,
for real,
we can move forward." And Michael's like, "Well, it sounds like I need my attorney." He's like, "Yeah, you can have an attorney, but you can also just tell me right now since I've already seen the footage and we can just have this conversation right here, right now." The lead detective saw right through him. It was very evident that nothing he could say would matter. And, when he asked, like, "Do I need an attorney?" He's like, "Yeah, because you're being arrested. And, these are going to be your charges, obviously." And so that happens. And it's really sad to know that her family, like her mom, her sister, her family members showed up to this hospital. And Bonnie had actually walked into Michael's room on accident. Because she was just like in panic mode trying to find her daughter, walked into the room, and before she could even like realize what's happening, he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. It was a mistake. Like it was an accident." So he's already trying to like seem like this saint or savior, like it wasn't him, just constantly being
disgusting,
a piece of shit. Over the next nearly 2 years, like I said, she had underwent 59 surgeries since the attack. She was in a coma for 7 months. But the coma actually happened after the fact because the lead detective, when he was there, he said, I need to hear from her. I need to hear her say that he did this, if I'm able, obviously. But they're trying to get their case to, convict, and he says, "I need to hear from her." And he goes and she's able to nod, and he asks, he's like, "Did you do this to yourself?" Shakes her head no. "Did Michael do this to you?" Yes. They get that confirmation, and he walks away knowing that this is the facts of what just happened. Right. And so then after that, she ends up going in this coma. She's in the coma for 7 months before she comes back out. And when she comes out, they have done so many different like skin grafts and surgeries to be able to get her to a point where she could be in a wheelchair, and she wasn't just in her bed, and she was able to sit up and talk and communicate with her daughters, who, when they first saw her, they explained, because they were 9 and either 11 or 12 at the time.
Okay.
And so when they first saw her, they didn't even think that it was their mom.
Right.
And
Obviously,
the oldest one,
look completely different.
100%. And the oldest one, when she had heard about the fact that they were burns, there's her in this documentary saying, you think about someone getting a cigarette burn to their body, but you can never imagine this kind of
what
a burn.
that looks like on your entire body.
Exactly.
Right?
But again, she got to spend that time and a little bit more time with her children and with her mom and with her family and her sister and her brother. And her brother showed up, and I guess Judy had said like she wanted to hug her brother. And he was like, nope, I can't hurt you. I will not hug you because I do not want to hurt you. And he just wouldn't even give her a hug. But he's like, I'm right here, but I will not hug you. I'm just, oh, it broke my heart. But all of this time, it ends up coming down to the fact that the team that was representing Judy Malinowski knew that she wasn't going to live.
Right.
I don't want to say knew that she wasn't going to live, because she already defied everything, right? Like, she already proved to them how much of a fighter and how much time she was going to take into her own hands.
Yeah.
But what I will say, wording-wise, is that they were waiting. They were holding out because they didn't want to take him to trial without a murder on their hands.
Yeah.
Because they wanted him locked up for life.
Hell yeah. No, I know it's like such a hard position, because they're like, look, like, it's, oh my gosh, it's so hard that they're like, we're not gonna take him for like attempted, right? Because we want that motherfucker gone.
Exactly.
Right. And it's like, it's a shitty thing. It's like, I can't remember what movie it is where someone basically says, if it was up to me, because basically what it was somebody, ended up in the hospital during the commission of a crime. And so they said something like, he survived, but if it was up to me, I would go and basically put a pillow over his head and make sure he died so I could put you in prison for the rest of your life.
Right.
Because it's murder. Because you deserve it, because you should never have committed this crime. But basically they're saying like, no, this motherfucker needs to go away because this isn't attempted. This guy needs to be gone forever. But that's such a hard place to be, but I also appreciate what they were doing.
Right.
And I think at the same time, like, Judy, who knows what she's thinking, but I think she can also appreciate like, hey, look, yeah.
We'll get into her thoughts for sure, because when I say how incredible she is, it's for many, many reasons. Her fight is just one of them, but her heart is truly something that you can just admire. I don't think my heart could ever be where her heart is, but I think it's beautiful.
She just
and
so
I think
full
more
of grace?
It's just, it's absolutely amazing
I
how
could
beautiful
never,
and
but
wonderful
she's
she
probably
is.
so full of grace.
What he was initially charged with was felonious assault and arson, which would have only been a max of 11 years in prison. They couldn't charge him with attempted murder due to the legal burden of proof. And that's why these people wanted to hold out and not go through with anything until it happened. And let me tell you, before the fact, they got a statement from Judy that was played in her own trial to testify. Don't make that face. To testify against Michael Slager. I'm fine to lock him up forever, but we'll get there. We're still not there yet. Another thing that happened that breaks my heart, and we're going to get into Judy's Law because, like I said, her mom and her family are amazing for the things that they have done to make the change so that someone who does this, like he did it, doesn't have to have the legal burden of proof or whatever to, not be charged with attempted murder when it's clearly attempted murder.
Clearly. What else are you trying to fucking do when you do something like that?
Yeah. Judy, like I mentioned, was on her way to rehab. And she had drugs in her system. So therefore, Judy was disqualified from her state to receive the state victim fund that would help with her surgeries, with her pain medication, with everything.
Are you absolutely fucking kidding me?
That is one of the biggest things that, this whole entire thing blows my mind. But to know that someone can say, yeah, but right here, it's written in this list of laws or list of qualifications that she can't receive that because she had drugs in her system. She was clearly going to rehab. It is disgusting. It's humiliating, but it's no longer a thing. So we will
I understand why laws like that are in place. Mm-hmm. I understand the reason why laws, like, people put laws like that on the books, okay? Whatever. Do I agree with
Okay,
them?
yeah, so if someone goes up to their stove and sets themselves on fire because they're on drugs, okay, don't fucking do something about it.
This is what that's what I'm saying. Okay, like, I get it. But hello? Mm-hmm. Like, we're not robots. It's not like, click, no, she cannot. She's in the no pile. Like, we're fucking humans. We can read her case and say, actually, like, a judge can fucking read her case and be like, well, this clearly is an extenuating circumstance, which means she should be qualified for this shit. Are you joking me? What the hell?
Nope.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nearly 2 years after her attack. Why do I keep adding ED at the end of all my words right now? I schooled.
Because you're like, that's what Tempe does. We run.
Oh, it's the best. Sauce slot?
I saw it. I saw it.
I saw it. Nearly 2 years after her attack, she died in June of 2017. It was almost 700 days after the attack. She fought for 700 days.
After
she chose herself.
110 mortality rate.
110% mortality rate.
110, and she said 700 days later. Oh,
but also, what's going to blow your mind right now, and I'm going to do it the best that I can, is that Judy had to give the permission to the people at the hospital to stop giving her pain medication because her testimony would not be used in court if she was on the pain medication. So she had to make that choice, which she did. Made the choice to stop taking it for a certain amount of time so that she could video record herself doing a testimony, knowing that as soon as she passed, they would be able to use it against Michael. And that's exactly what happened. So he wasn't charged with felonious arson. He was charged with aggravated murder against Judy Malinowski after she died, and he received life without parole. This state believes in the death penalty, and Judy doesn't. And she said, I don't want him to have the death penalty because I hope he finds God and that he gets better. And that's who she is as a person. Oh my God. It blows my mind that someone can go through everything she went through in life and still give, how you said, the grace to someone who doesn't deserve it. And it's like, it makes me think of her mom, and her mom saying, like, she's not perfect, she's human. I agree.
Saint.
She's a saint, but in his case, like, not perfect, but human. Lock him up forever. That happened. But she's so amazing. It is incredible. Incredible who she is as a person.
Everything she went through as a person.
Yeah.
Cancer. Then having to deal with a substance addiction because of the pain medication due to cancer.
Yeah.
Then pulling herself up enough to go to rehab herself. Having then to be a survivor of domestic violence. More substance addiction due to her domestic abuse.
Yes.
Then being literally set on fire.
Yeah.
Being told that because you were literally on your way to rehab with substances in your system, the laws in your state are being red taped and politicized and all of that bullshit.
Yep.
Going through some of the probably most traumatic shit, like burn victims, that shit, like medically induced comas, skin grafts, that shit, that is some of the craziest, like, procedures ever.
Yeah.
Okay? Going through all that, having 110% mortality, to stick it out for over 2 fucking years, almost 2 years, right? That's insane. Then to all of the pain, they put you on medically induced comas for this because your body can literally not handle the pain. That is why she was in a coma for 7 months. Your body can literally not handle the pain. And then to tell your medical staff, okay, go ahead and take me off of my pain medication so that I can provide the testimony necessary. Literally, that alone is insane. And then to say, but you know what? That everyone deserves grace, including this person who is a literal psychopath. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. In her story, in her life, in her fight, and her mother took all of that and introduced a law called Judy's Law. And Judy's Law is passed in Ohio. Unfortunately, it's still not passed everywhere, which I think is absolute bullshit and bonkers and blows my mind. But I'm going to explain it to you guys, what it is and why it's here. And it just, again, shows that through everything we talk about here, as unfortunate and as heartbreaking and how horrible these cases are that we bring to you, there's change that happens because of it. Mm-hmm. It's awful that it has to be something along these circumstances that lead to this. But when we see the change that is made from it, it is something that is good. It is something that is positive. It is something that is beautiful. So what is Judy's Law? Judy's Law is an Ohio state law that was enacted in 2017 in honor of Judy Malinowski, a domestic violence survivor who was doused in gasoline and set on fire by her ex-boyfriend, Michael Slager, in 2015. What this is it enhances penalties for domestic violence involving permanent disfigurement or disability, so that he wouldn't have gotten the 11 years, even if she would have survived forever. Mm-hmm. He would have been able to get longer sentencing because of it. It gives the judges more information at sentencing about the offender's history as well, because he did have a history before Judy and during Judy. Mm-hmm. And it improves protections and justice for survivors of severe domestic violence.
Yep.
So
that should be a national.
It
Why
really should
isn't
be.
it? I don't understand why that's only that's I mean, hello.
No.
Come on, other states.
Longer
Get
prison
on board.
sentences, victim impact statements, increased awareness, all of these things. Like, it's just, how is that not something everyone...
I mean, every single state should definitely 100. And the sad reality is maybe not every single state has a case exactly like hers, but every single state, the sad reality is every single state has something where there's a victim with there is a case where there's a survivor with some kind of permanent, disability or disfigurement due to domestic violence. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and then, they have to go out there, live their life, knowing that the person who did that to them is going to be out eventually and
or
be able to get a second
out?
chance.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It is. And so my final thoughts and the call to action in this is, Judy's Law. Mm-hmm. There's a website for it. It'll be sourced in the show notes for you to go check out. I feel like, so they help with other people in Ohio, but there has to be a way that we can help share it to, there has to be something, it makes me think of the change.org, right? Where you can start signing petitions to
Let's get this
somehow
shit out of Ohio.
Federal, like everywhere. How is this not? That's
like
where I'm just like, it makes no sense. So
yeah.
That's the thing, is to you got to go there and you have to figure out how we can support it federally, because it does so much. It helps fund shelters, it brings awareness, it does so much, it educates others on the warning signs, because she was a victim of domestic abuse. Yes. And so it is so much more than just the attack on that day. It is about how we talked about the statistics of when you try to leave, where you can go to get the help that you need, those kind of things. And Judy's Law, that foundation, it's now a foundation, is absolutely incredible. The other thing that I constantly think about is that her addiction didn't make her any less deserving of the protection that she needed. And the fact that even after the fact, it still played such a big role in what she was given or what she wasn't given. Like the fact that she wasn't given those funds absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah. And I think that the other part that really strikes me in this is, like, and you mentioned it, is a lot of times, unfortunately, people in a domestic abuse situation, a big part of the control is substance abuse. Like, it is not uncommon, right? And it's a big part of that. And, a lot of times that is keeping them in that situation, is that abuse and that dependence. And, you're saying, oh, well, they're addicted and they're, blah, 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 blah. Well, why? Because their abuser is, providing it and keeping them under that control. Like, that's not uncommon. Yeah. And so you're writing them off, and it's not, it's just, it's so shitty. And, I think people really, obviously there's this huge stigma in and of itself around substance use and substance abuse. And I think, fortunately, there's been a lot of positive work done to demonstrate that, substance use and substance abuse, it's not just people making this, conscious choice, I'm going to go out and abuse substances today, right? It's like there's a mental disorder, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, and people, people suffer from this, and it impacts, people and their families, but that's something that, people really need to consider. And and it's they're unfortunately, that's a lot of things people overlook in these situations. So that dynamic is very complicated, and people need to understand that it is not black and white like that.
It's not. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
Other things that we can do one of the things from Judy's foundation is they ask you to use your voice to raise awareness. And that's why we're sitting here talking about it today. We want to bring awareness to Judy's case. We want to talk about how she was failed in certain ways.
Oh, yeah.
And explain how, first of all, it's not okay, but how people are trying to make a change, make a difference, do better, and how continuing the conversation, how sharing about it, sharing Judy's Law, doing those kind of things are so, so important.
For sure.
And then lastly, just helping survivors and believing them when they're talking to you. You said it best earlier when you were talking about the fact that, yeah, she had things in her system, but it was very clear that if they would have had more information, they could have seen that she was being manipulated. She was being given,
100%.
Things were not from her. And so it's like believing the survivor and listening without judgment. And with that said, I want to provide the National Domestic Violence Hotline for everyone here today. The phone number is 1-800-799-SAFE, 799-7233. You can also text the number, you can text START to 88788. And the website is thehotline.org. This is available 24/7 for you guys, for anyone who needs it, or if you know someone who needs it. It's there. It's there to help. There are resources. This is not the only one. This will be in the show notes. But it's necessary to continue sharing these resources, this information, these stories to try to help so that this doesn't happen to other people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every single time we'll share it. Because you
that
never
is,
know. Take it as your sign today. If this is like it's got to be the 20th, 30th time unfortunately, when you cover mom-related cases, this is one of the subjects that comes up. So take this as your sign. If this is the 20th time you've heard us talk about it, you or someone go look at it. Even if it's just to look at the statistics, because that is one that hits hard. I don't know how many times we've covered a case where it's the day that they're trying to leave. Or
and that day's going to be scary. We're not telling you this is going to be easy. We know this is not easy. And we know that it is scary. And you've got to know the resources. You've got to know how you can find who is going to be there in your corner to help. And it's unfortunate because it's not only on you. It's on everyone. It's on the system. It's on law enforcement. It's on every single aspect because people are not trained in certain areas. So then you try to seek help and you're turned away, and then you're sent right back to your abuser, and it's the circle, and things need to change. And
100%.
I wish I just had every answer to figure out how to make all of those changes. And the only thing I can do is try to share the information, share the resources, share that you are worthy, that you are important, that you deserve to be here, and that you don't deserve any of the bad things that happen. Whether you think this is the life I've lived, whatever it may be. No, you deserve more, and you should see that. So 988. That's a resource, and the other ones will be there. Now I just rant and scream and talk and go nuts. So I'm not going to do that anymore because I've already done that. But that's why we
have the podcast.
I know, because I'm just a talker. That's Judy's story.
Shout out to April for covering it. April is an amazing. First of all, she's an amazing person. We've talked about her several times. She covers criminal fires, crime to burn. She's amazing researcher, amazing at what she does. Rachel, you did a great job. And I think, obviously when we bring it on to like Mother Like Murder, we really obviously focus on the mother part of things too. Damn.
But I think that's a beautiful thing about the perspectives and different people that you listen to, because
you see different parts of it differently.
Yeah, you're gonna hear us talk more about Bonnie or her as a mom and her kids, right? Because that's what we do here. You hear April talk about the fire aspect and you know, I mean, she talks about everything, but then also I listen to so many things, you know, I read every article, I try to find everything, I watch the documentary. Another amazing podcast that I can put in the show notes is Weird True Crime. Gina and Amber, they covered her story as well, and they really dive into so much of they even talk about what it feels like when you're getting burned, and they talk about the feeling of burnt, like it's stabbing sensations, like a million needles going into your body. They talk about the drug aspect and the addiction aspect of it as well. And so the different perspectives that you can gain from listening to other people is absolutely amazing.
It really
is. If we're not for you and you're still here, that's crazy. Welcome. We love you. No, typically if you're at the end of the episode, you sort of like us a little bit is what I assume. But that's the beauty of podcasting, is there's something for everyone. Go find what it is, because ultimately, if you find a podcast that is doing it for the right reasons, April, Amber, and Gina, people are. Yeah. And, you know, sharing that information is very important. And it's
that's
necessary.
What I was going to say. It is interesting when you're into it, or you find a case that you're interested in, or you find a podcast that you like their angles of, you know, because everyone focuses on like a different aspect, right, of the same case. So that's what I was going to say. People cover, you know, focus on different parts of the coverage. But thank you for covering it. And, you know, oh my gosh, that's just so, she's a saint. She's a saint. Saint Judy. Oh my goodness.
Really?
Amazing.
Really
amazing woman.
All right, you guys, all of that information will be in the show notes. We are going to be talking with a daughter who helped to solve her own mother's murder yet again here on Like Mother, Like Murder. Actually, the first time we talked to her, she was on Wine Time with us. Our 7th episode. 6 and 7, I think it is, something like crazy. That. Or I don't know. Those numbers might not be accurate. But we will be talking with Heidi Jones-Acey very soon, because we covered her mom's murder way back when, nearly 3 years ago, if not 3 years ago at this point.
I know, right?
And she released a book last year. And it is so important for us to get her on here to share that information, to talk about her book, to talk about the journey again. And I'm just excited for that chat. So you guys will be hearing from her very, very soon. And other than that, I hope you guys have a beautiful week. I hope that you guys choose to fight in everything you do in life. You know,
and have some grace at it. Be a graceful fighter. How's that?
That's a beautiful thing.
I like it.
Gentle warrior, like I wrote on our shirt before.
I think that's oh my God. See, look at all of this. It comes full circle.
It does. Because just be a good person, but you also got to hold your ground. That's what it all comes down to. Make that happen. We will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
Looking for your next true crime podcast? Then consider checking out my show, Truly Twisted, wherever you get your podcasts. Hi, my name is Alicia Watson, and each Thursday I will be bringing you a twisted story that is always victim-focused and fact-based. My goal is simple, bringing a voice to the voiceless. So be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at It's Truly Twisted. And for more on my show and other amazing creators, visit fireeyesmedia.com. And in the meantime, remember, you are wanted, you are loved, and you deserve to be here. And I'll see you there.
Fire Eyes Media.